Next, we're going to be talking about mental health effects and the rebound insanity. Rebound insanity or insane rebounds of the way it goes world we live in. So mental health, that's kind of our subject over here. And mental health problems, why do they arise? Well, one explanation could be this. We are different. Way it goes beings. For everyone, each one of us, the way it goes in our life is not the same. And that's why some people can get depressed or psychotic or whatever these terms they have invented for those states of being. And that's the reason why. I don't know shit about mental health. I don't know shit about insanity either. But let's write that word over here. Insanity. And as an insane person lives in the world and is experiencing his insanity, which could encompass, for example, these things called hallucinations. And if you nowadays go on Wikipedia and you search for any explanation on any subject, you will find a definition of that is outside of any specific phenomena of that. For example, with the hallucination, the first lines you're gonna read about hallucination on the Wikipedia is not a real experience of a hallucination. It's a definition of how it's gonna be like. Yeah. So an insane person is going to experience sometimes hallucinations of sight or hearing, even tactile. I'm here. I have very limited knowledge and experience of hallucination, but think about this. There's something going on in the brain of the insane person that makes him experience these sight, hearing, tactile hallucinations. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. And if you have these types of people and you feed them this whatever type of drug that makes them all zombied up, and then you notice that at least according to the person himself, his sight, hearing, tactile, hallucinating seems to didn't listen down. Then that must mean that this drug is this word? Working. Yeah, it's working. And we should keep using it because it works. This is how it goes for the insane person. Now let's go to the level of the mind. I've been exposing to you the way it goes thinking prison. The way it goes thinking and thought that you have probably now started to recognize in a lot of people, I hope, that are not insane. At least according to most definitions of the world. That are not insane use a lot of this is how it goes statements. Insane people do sometimes say this is how it goes statements too. But they might be insane this is how it goes statements. Insane this is how it goes statements. The content of the this is how it goes defines that this is how it goes as insane. We could say in his sight or in his hearing or in this tactile sensation, there's something going on that for others is not there. All this defining type of stuff. Let's focus over here on these That's how it goes. So when you would have some patient or somebody explain his own insanity, could he even explain that this is how it goes for me? Could he or she even explain that this is how it goes for me? It's kind of the same as with some guys, they have a fetish for feet. You know, that's just their fucking thing. Then for some others, they have hallucinations in the brain or wherever they happen. It's not the same at all. That's how it goes. Do you understand? That's how it goes. So, psychology. If you study psychology, how much of psychology is actually true? Is psychology even any way that any psychologist has said that this is how it goes? Or is psychology the collection of how it goes, how we have taught it to go, psychological kind of whatever they are? What is psychology? I mean, it didn't exist sometime in the past, and then they founded it, psychology. Well, the insanity probably did exist before psychology. That's how it goes. Do you understand? Everything I kind of say over here is that's how it goes. So there's even something the same in the insane asylum patient as the person probably that's going to give the lecture on the psychology. I mean, there's something the same in them. For certain. I remember this insane asylum documentary where there's this interview on YouTube, and the patient was just like, somebody's gonna kill me and somebody's gonna shoot me, and he has this obsessive type of fear, and he was believing in that. So we again go into this belief. We also have to remember that he was probably American. So yeah, belief. So there's a statement and that statement sounds insane. And it seems that the person believes the statement. Here we go into big questions. This gets the rebound effect. Why do people listen to anybody? Why do you listen to anybody? Why? Is it because you believe in that person? Is it because he makes you think? Is it because he makes such outlandish notions that you start to question your own beliefs? Why is it that you listen to anybody? Why? Are insane people listened to a lot for their outlandish, insane statements of how it goes? Do insane people actually make how it goes statements? This is how it goes. Imagine this sentence. When I woke up, there was a dragon on my wall. Then I realized it was just a picture. Only the problem was that it used to be black and white, and now it's colorful and it's trying to eat me. This sort of stuff. Well, I had to put that food on the table and print that shit out for you. So don't complain it to any psychiatrist. He's not gonna understand it. What is the saying in that? Mental health. Now let's go into that depression. Depression. If there's a definition of this on Wikipedia, depression, and you remember that fucking picture with the man, it's like, yeah, you remember that. There's a definition of this depression. Not any specific depression, it's just depression. A definition of it. Definition proof of that depression. There, on Wikipedia. And then you think, does this fit the definition of insanity? Does it fit into the definition of insanity? Well, somebody might say that we're all insane. Because that's how it goes. If the person that says that we're all insane believes in it fully, is that insane? Does the fact that you can't question if it's really the way it goes, the definition that it is insane to think that? Or is even thinking that insane? Yeah. I mean this sort of stuff. This explanation, a scientific explanation, this how it goes. There's something going on in his sight or hearing or whatever. I don't fucking know. Is there any explanation to this stuff? I don't know. That's how it goes. Somebody could make it into a career and that's how his life would go. You know, and if you make that mental health into the career, then that's how the life is gonna go. Probably. And it's a way that it goes. You think about, for example, this asylum for the insane. And then you ask, is there freedom in insanity itself? Does insanity in its freedom differ from not being insane? Over here I have explained why we are not free, but at the same time, when you really appreciate, understand into this, that's how it goes, thinking, then you understand that this is actually the freedom that we are seeking. It's weird. It's the prison and it's the freedom. That's how it goes. You hear what I just said was a "that's how it goes" statement. You could say that even this activity is insane, but that would be "that's just how it goes" a statement. Do you understand? So here with insanity, we are dealing with some stuff that is more maybe applicable to somebody driving a car very fast and somebody getting hit with the car on the street very fast. It's kind of an experience you couldn't probably deny. Yeah, this sort of stuff happens. But then again, if he's hallucinating the car that is coming towards him and he jumps off the sidewalk because of it, and even if he didn't jump, he wouldn't have gotten hit by the car because the car wasn't real. He was hallucinating it. This goes to a pretty interesting level. Do insane people act according that they are seeing and hearing this stuff? And because of that, people that are not, they then notice, yeah, he must be insane. For example, if you make a notion on this statement, talking to yourself is insane. Yeah, some people I have felt are not comfortable in talking to themselves. I mean, talking aloud when there's nobody around. That's what they have said to me, but at the same time, it's possible that they still do, or it might be that they think in their mind that that's how it goes. If I talk aloud with myself, I mean that's just how it goes. That's insane. That's insane. It's insane to talk out loud with yourself. That's how it goes. Then there's a question, is there a different degree of that's how it goes thoughts? For example, with me, you notice that I have a lot. I always keep thinking about how stuff goes. That's probably the only thing I can do nowadays. I just think about how stuff goes. The reason why I'm not really hailed as the king of knowledge or the king of thinking or the king of the brain, so to say, is because most of the stuff I can come up with, the explanations are very probably untrue. They are not true what I say, and they are not on the expert level. I haven't studied this stuff, so I wouldn't know. When I'm trying to pinpoint out to you that even here with insanity, there's a that's how it goes level. And this is individual, some in the same way that some people get cancer, and some people get disease, this sort of stuff. It's called isn't it called like mental disease? Yeah, so that's how it goes for them. But I'm trying to over here not really maybe even understand why we are so different and why does this type of stuff happen to each specific individual. I'm not really trying to even understand that. I'm trying to understand if there is a level that is above and transcending this. What could that tell us even about the nature of life and death? What could that tell us about the afterlife and this sort of stuff? And yeah, how would that then go? Do you understand? Do you understand how I think? You could say that to a certain degree, those people that are sometimes seem insane, they are not clever enough to realize their own bullshit. So it's a belief level. But then you understand probably also this, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. It's more of an awakening to the consciousness of, or becoming conscious of what I'm actually doing right now. Like, do you notice like what I just did there? It was kind of the same as I was doing all the time there. So is that any different? Is that any different? That's how it goes versus just being the recipient of it. Just goes like this for me. I just see these hallucinations, I just hear this stuff. So is it any different to be the recipient versus being the recipient and being able to kind of decipher and describe it? This is how it goes. This belief level. Next, let's go into dreams. It's kind of about psychology, dreams. Some psychologists, at least Jung and Mr. Freud, I think talk about that, the dream. So think about this. For example, the depression. It's a way that it just goes this way. Depression, this goes this way. And dreams go a certain way. They go a certain way. Have you noticed? I had this dream and it went this way. It went this way. I had this dream and it went this way. It went this way. You could explain it. It started from here, and then this happened. I can't quite remember what happened next, but it went this way. This is how it goes. There has been a lot of this is how it goes explanations of dreams. Why they go like they go. The bigger question over here is that when we dream, do we actually do something different than when we're awake? Do we actually do something different? Am I kind of doing the same thing as I'm doing right now? What I have realized is that kind of not that. It's actually kind of the same what we are doing over here. And I have said this in the past that I feel that those hallucinations are kind of related to the dreams, in a sense that you cannot fully maybe awaken or be awake in a sense that you could think in the normal waking way, where you make a lot of this is how it goes statements and that sort of stuff. I mean, where you live in the this is how it goes world. So I don't feel that at the moment I'm doing anything much different than from dreams, but when I see dreams, it just goes this way. It went this way, I don't know. It just goes this way. So I feel that this kind of I could make this kind of theory that those people that have a sexual fetish, they are more prone to this it went this way or this is how it goes type of thinking, that are this way. I can make that and say that this is how it goes, and it could be false. And a lot of stuff I said about those dreams too, that I'm not doing anything different right now than what I do in my dreams. It could be also false. That there's actually, to the mind, very different states. The visual state that is closer to the dream, where we see stuff actually there, compared to the thinking state. But when we worry, for example, it's a kind of a dream. Worrying is a kind of a dream. But we don't lose ourselves so fully to it that we believe it fully true. What are we actually doing when we worry is maybe it's a dream, but we kind of don't want it to be true. We don't want it to be true. We don't want to freeze and this sort of stuff. So you could maybe through these kind of thoughts, I could start to think like, are these insane people then prone to worry? Do they worry a lot? And this sort of stuff. What is going on there in the mind? But then when you think about it, you have a mind, and then you have another mind. And as you have probably understood from watching YouTube, is that our minds, through our bodies, we can kind of influence each other's, our minds. Maybe we can't. Maybe we can influence the content of our this is how it goes. Kind of at an experiential level of memory statements, we can influence each other. But maybe minds are more the same than we even think. For example, an opinion. Are all opinions this is how it goes statements? Are all opinions just this is how it goes? So they are different, like boys and girls, psychotics from the people out on the street. It's pretty psychotic to even be on the streets nowadays, but anyway, that's a this is how it goes statement. Opinions. Are opinions just this is how it goes statements? how do you hold those in the mind? Or what actually happens there with the opinion? I think with the opinions we come to the same stuff as with the people that are kind of insane or sick or in any way kind of, you know, dealing with difficulties with life. We come to the same strangle point with opinions, where the person's kind of physique, whatever he has experienced, all this kind of stuff, you know, psychobabble, psychology, you know, all the upbringing and that kind of stuff, whatever. We can create even an opinion out of that, or whatever it is. Is it theory? I like to say that I have a lot of theories, but maybe I even don't. And when we think about it in this way, we could open up a lot of conversation with those that are able to have that conversation. But with some people, there's no way to have that conversation. Amongst the insane, there might be them, but there might be them amongst those that are not insane. So, I think now, in my mind, that dreams are not really different. That when I dream, it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same as what I'm doing right now. I can't really live fully connected to the way the reality is. That's my this how it goes statement. Then I say that this reality has very much this is how it goes rules. This material over here is certain way. This is more soft. This sort of stuff. They all have their characteristics. I feel them through my body. I mean here, this is how it goes. And if I say that that's real, this is how it goes statement. You know. So isn't it just for the logic then that in your dreams you can feel so real experiences, because this is how it goes types of, we call them thoughts, but you know, thought, you know, this is how it goes. You can give a definition, what's a thought even, but some people might say that, you know, there's no separation between the thought and the object. This is how it goes. And you can make all kinds of these, you know, outlandish ways that you can explain this stuff. And I feel that there's nothing insane in it, because we all do it. If we don't do it, and I say and I'm wrong, we don't all do it. You don't do it. You're much better. I mean, you're not guilty of this type of stuff. You know, you're the best. Then if that's right, then that's right. You know. Do you understand what I mean? It's just this is how it goes statement. So if somebody makes an outlandish this is how it goes statement, and he or she seems to believe in that, but the person is not having any psychotic, you know, these hallucinations. I mean, in that sense, there's nothing wrong going on in his brain. You could say that it's more of there's something going on with his relationship with his statements. You know, there's something going on with his relationship with those statements. And as I said in the one other previous episode, we operate on limited knowledge sometimes. That's also this is how it goes statement. Maybe we have all the knowledge we need. We don't need any more knowledge or something like that. You don't need to get all that education. You don't need that psychology, all that. You don't need to go to therapy. What are you gonna do in therapy? You're just gonna explain to the therapist your this is how it goes nonsense. And the therapist is going to try to weed out those notions that don't really match to the life that you could live, or to your self-image that is not the way. I mean, like think about this self-image or self-esteem. What is it? Like what is it? What is it? Self-esteem. Is bad self-esteem like dangerous levels of low self-esteem? Is it the same as the person having some kind of disease. I mean, is low self-esteem a kind of a disease, or is it more of this how it goes believed? Is it psychological? Is low self-esteem psychological, or is it physical? This sort of stuff. So that's what I'm going for over here. What you probably notice from my brain is that it's just constantly churning up this stuff. Well, I can just latch onto any subject and I can start to think about it, but I can even read about it and this sort of stuff. I can even probably, if I really wanted, I could start studying it, but I probably won't do that, because this is what I want to do. I want to be the, that's even that, this is what I want, this is how it goes statement. And the guy goes like, well, it doesn't go like that way. Can't you see, I have this huge boner, that's really what I want. It's not like I just think in my mind and, it's just this how it goes statement. Are hallucinations kind of like boners then? Well, of course they're not in that way. Yeah. So be very careful when you say that because something is this way, there's something the same in it, you think like that, then it means that it so is. Low self-esteem, I mean, self-image. If you haven't read that book, Psycho-Cybernetics, it's a really great book. Self-image. It was by this plastic surgeon. I'm gonna write it over here. Psycho, it's on YouTube for free as an audiobook. Psycho-Cybernetics. What he explains over there is that we have an image of ourselves, and this image is controlling or limiting what we can be and become. This image of ourselves. And he kind of explains that there's more malleability to us that we can think. And it's a this is how it goes book. Psycho-Cybernetics. And this is how it goes knowledge is not all worthless. I mean, it's not all the type, that's what this is how it goes statement. It's not all the type of knowledge that will not create any change or anything better in your life, or this sort of stuff. It might. So, it's great when you read a lot. It's great when you study a lot. It's great when you just give your mind all this stimulation, because it gives you these subjects that you can work and think yourself around. At least this is how I use that shit. There might be a whole lot of more ways and you could explain them. This is how it goes. Knowledge needs not to be used like that. You could explain it like this. But think over here with self-image. Is self-image based upon your previous thoughts of this is how I go? Right? So this is how I am. I am. This is how I am. How deep does this really go? This this is how it goes stuff. Does it go to the level of who you actually are? Well, of course it does. Your nails and your bones and your hair and this sort of stuff. This is how it goes for me. One example is the shampoo for the people with dandruff or whatever it is. Have these flakes of skin from your scalp. Some people have it. Some people don't seem to have it because they use shampoo like that. How did they figure out that you could actually stop that from happening? How did they figure out? What kind of science did they have to do? Yeah? What else does it and do or effect than just that from happening. Do a lot of depressed people use shampoo like that? That's sort of questioning. No. Questions don't always lead to us doing anything. Most of the time we don't do anything. I mean, I don't do anything. You do a lot of stuff. You're not like me. I'm just a bum and I'm just a useless, retard type of person. This is a self-image, this how it goes statement. Useless retard. Self-image. This how I am. It's a great book because it's kind of American. It's very American. It's more, you could explain it in the this is how it goes way. That there's states, continents to your own being that you have not discovered yet. And in the self-image of Psycho-Cybernetics book, he tells you that you think that this is the only you can be. But there's more. He doesn't talk about exploration in that book in the way a real, not of an American should. But I feel that it's a book that only an American could write. And I learned from it. But it took a whole lot of time until anything remotely traceable to it could be seen in my life. And every time I took a shit, I had it there, the book, when I was in the toilet. And you see a mirror image of yourself, mirror. And when I went to a psychiatric ward, it was just a short visit of a week. And it was related to this drug experience, like 10 years ago, which made me reconsider kind of my stance on, well, a lot of stuff. Then I noticed that in the psych ward there are no mirrors. There are no mirrors in the psych ward. You cannot see your own physical image. What's your relationship to that? When you see yourself. Somebody says that you just have to accept yourself. Well, understand this, that the image that you see on a mirror is different for everybody of us. You could say that it's such a drastic difference that every time somebody wakes up and sees herself or himself in the mirror, that creates a chain of events in that man's or woman's life that determine his or her actions, his fortune, the way that the world is gonna see that person. It determines his whole life, that moment when he wakes up and sees himself in the mirror. And through Psycho-Cybernetics, this writer, he explained that he could change some of that with plastic surgery. Plastic surgery could change how people feel about themselves, and that would change their life. He also explained that there's a psychological level to it, and at the psychological level you can actually change how you see yourself, your self-image, which starts to kind of change this feedback loop type of what, the moment you wake up to the moment you fall asleep. Yeah. But then there are dreams. Have you ever seen your reflection of a mirror in a dream? Have you ever seen one? I don't know. These are all this is how it goes statements that you could actually change how this is how it goes statements. It might be a really great book for those people that are not very unattractive, but have some unattractiveness in them and feel somewhat lack of courage and maybe aren't very brave or whatever. These sort of qualities, bravery, character qualities. This is how it goes. You're a very brave person. This is how it goes statement. Do you understand that if you base your own your own image of yourself too much on this is how it goes statements from others. And in psychology they talk about something called internalization, I think. That if you get this sort of negative, this is how it goes for you, statements from very, you're very clumsy type of stuff. You always drop stuff. I haven't dropped anything in this whole night when I film this stuff. And now it's 6 a.m. So that's 6 hours of not dropping stuff. Then I drop it and I think I'm very clumsy. Does that match to how I actually am? Should it be part of my self-image that I'm clumsy there? Yeah, of course not. Of course not. So go into this level of the mind. That's a command or this sort of stuff. This is how it goes. And then realize that the statements you make yourself out of yourself are on pretty much the same level playing field, and there's no way to get around this. If you focus on this, it's not how hideous or how not you are. This is also this is how it goes statement. Do you understand? I'm trying to kind of nullify the difference in the mirror image of us. You're not me. You're looking into a mirror that's not you. This is not you. This is how it goes statement. We are all one. This is how now it goes our statement. You understand? Get your brain like really twisted over here. So you're looking into a mirror that's not you. Can this mirror back you when it's not you? Well, what if it's you? You get it. This is how it goes, statements. We're all stuck. We're all guilty for this. From the insane to the most sane. We're all guilty from this. That's this is how it goes statement. Very good. Now, there's something happening in the mirror. The mirror creates something in the mind, and think about it. You just have to accept yourself as you are. But you are not like others are. For you, the fact that you cannot accept yourself or you cannot love yourself, that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes for you. Some might say it doesn't have to go that way. Just love yourself, man, or this sort of stuff. Give the command. Love yourself. And it's like, get those guys on the bunker. Stuff. Loving yourself is not army mentality. The commands don't work. Maybe they do. I don't know. That's this is how it goes statement. Yeah. 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 There's probably no way to escape from this. This is how it goes world we live in. And imagine that in this fucking this is how it goes world that we live in are those people that for them it goes like it doesn't go for any other one but themselves.